Hi guys, I wanted to post this because I, as everybody else, am hopefully you are self quarantining. I am self quarantining. I can't even say that word very well, but here I am. And I wanted to kind of just, I don't know, I want to put a different kind of video out because I am seeing so much and so many posts around what you should be doing, what you need to be doing, and how to be doing, and how you should feel, and all of this stuff. And what I am not seeing, which is interesting, is kind of just like, how about you fucking do you? How about you just feel all your feels and do you? Because ultimately, guys, here's my thing. My sickness, my dis-ease in my life started by stuffing it in, by listening to the status quo on I couldn't feel a certain way, I couldn't cry, I couldn't talk about things, I couldn't feel things because I wasn't allowed to, supposedly. And, with what's happening right now, I think it's this ultimate time of, I see it as like everyone's been talking about, like, right, this healing for the planet, this quiet time, this reserve time. Absolutely. And if we take advantage of that for ourselves, we can do what's good for us. So I am personally just deciding to sleep when I want to sleep, resting the hell out of myself, taking care of myself. I found some chocolate almonds today. I'd had like two of them. I've been a good girl around that. I am allowing that the dis-ease is not going to ramp up my disease. Because for a lot of you that know me and have known me for a while or have known my story, I was really sick for years and started a long time ago with medication I took in India. And actually, it wasn't like Indian medication. I just took it because I got really sick in India. And when I got sick, I took this antibiotic that I didn't know was going to make me even sicker. And it ruined my stomach and ruined everything about my digestive system that lasted for probably about 10 years. And then that was starting to heal little by little. And then I ended up just really falling on my face. Probably it's 2023 and a half years ago. Went from literally dancing 5 days a week to just all of a sudden kept saying I didn't feel good, didn't feel good. Well, we found out at the time at the house that I was in with my ex-husband, I found out that I had mold toxicity. We had massive mold in our crawl space, and within months, I could barely walk. I could not even lift a 1 pound weight without crying. I could not do my normal workouts. I could not be around people because at that point in time, we also found out that I had Epstein-Barr virus, which is mono, and I was close to 50 at the time. I'm 53 now. So all this shit went down, right? Epstein-Barr virus just like let me sleep, sleep, sleep. That's all I wanted to do. Finally came to life. Business was pretty much extinct at that time because I didn't keep up with many people as far as clients went. I did have some people start hiring me. Things got really good later in the year. The business really flourished. But right before that time, around that time, I was still getting tested and getting like literally like 18 vials of blood drawn, you guys. I think I put up this photo of like Count Dracula um, once and it said 18, ha 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 ha, because that's where my sickness was. And I remember thinking, I remember also at the time I was unhappy, I was sad, I was not able to process my emotions, I was not trusting my intuition on what was happening in my life and in my body. And so I let things go and I didn't really get better. My numbers didn't change. And so I think within by about 2000, I think it was 17, the doctor said, I want to test you for one more thing. And I kind of fought it, but we ended up doing it. And I got diagnosed with Lyme disease and it came back positive. So that was the summer of 2017. And when I got diagnosed with Lyme disease, I went into severe depression. I don't know if many of you know, I don't really show it, and I wasn't able to show a lot of my emotions then, right? Because what I was taught from a young age was to stuff those emotions. Don't feel stuff. or we will tell you how you need to feel, and then you feel that way because then it's okay. But if you cry too much, it's not good. If you're happy too much, it's not good. Then what's wrong with you, right? So I just learned to put my emotions in a box and feel around those and inside of those. And it was so stuffed inside of me. My body was inflamed. I was, I don't care about anybody's weight and how heavy anybody is, but it was like I was so inflamed that my body probably was carrying an extra 30 pounds of weight just from the inflammation. And I know that the inflammation came from the emotional consequences and the stress and everything else. Anyway, when I got Lyme disease, there was something that was happening inside of me that I just felt like this anger was starting to happen. And there was this anger that was just fueling me because I was so pissed off by then, right? And I had a really cool call with this medical intuitive, which I've never done before. I didn't even know if I really believed in a lot of it, but just really felt like this was the thing to do. So I did the call with this gal that night. And she said to me, Lyme disease is, in medical terminology, is considered a mimicker. It's a great mimicker. It mimics other diseases. And in the energetic community, it is the healer. It is the calling of a new life. It's a transformation. It is a calling to a new purpose. And it is time for you to do that. So I really thought about that, and we talked a lot about the healing process. And something came to me around that time, and it wasn't through her call, but I think through journaling and stuff, was that wow, this anger, this stuff that I'm feeling, this stuffed up feeling, is just propagating this feeling inside of me, and it's probably feeding this disease, right? Not to say that you guys have a disease, but here's the thing. When we feed into all that stuff that's going on with the media right now and all the stuff that's happening with these conversations, and people don't believe in this and are angry about that. And you know what? I've been posting stuff about politics here and there, and I've been posting a lot of funny stuff, and I've been dancing it out every day. But one thing I do know is that from that Lyme disease, when I decided that it was going to be the great transformer, that's what it was. She said it was going to be a transformation. Lyme disease is also an amazing transformer. And I decided at that point in time what was feeding it was my anger. And my anger was towards somebody else in another situation at the marriage at the time. But I also then took major accountability to realize that I had a choice and I had a decision to make, right? So I think it was around then. This is probably just 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. I started feeding myself with things that weren't angry, that things were, and they weren't always happy. They weren't happy either, by the way. So it wasn't always like go, go, go and be happy and, do all that bullshit. No, it wasn't about that. It was about just unstuff, like taking that stuffing out of a pillow. And let me tell you how I did it. And you can follow this or not follow this because I'm not trying to be that person that says you got to do it this way. But one thing that I know, and I think that it's the elephant in the room right now with a lot of the conversations that are on Facebook, is that people are scared of the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in 4 weeks with our families and all this, right? I get this. And I also know that financially, everyone's a little stressed out. We don't know how we're going to pay our bills and what's going to happen. Are they going to give us money? Are we on our own in small businesses? How are we going to survive this? So I'm being creative in a lot of things that I'm doing. I don't know how it's going to go down. I'm just trusting in divine and God right now to see that things are going to be okay. And the other thing that I'm doing, which has been a really, really big, amazing lesson for me in the past year and a half, is that I'm owning my emotions. So does it mean that I have to watch happy movies and happy shit? No, because you know what? I'll give you a little secret. I don't like any of that stuff. I mean, I love comedy. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I'm actually going to start watching Curb Your Enthusiasm and stuff. But my favorite show is like Sopranos, is like Narcos. And now I'm watching Narcos Mexico. And it's awesome. I love all that stuff. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's just like, it makes me happy. I don't know why. Not the violence or anything, but I just really dig all that. So I'm not going to turn that off. Like, to watch a frou-frou documentary or a movie right now, it's not going to do it for me. I am going to probably be, honestly, probably more depressed and sad if I had to watch that, because I'm not being true to myself, right? So this is about being true to ourselves. I'll use that hashtag you do you boo. Just fucking do that right now. But what I'm going to ask you to do is one more thing. So the unstuffing or the unraveling of Rupa, what I find happened last year and the year before was being okay with the sadness, being okay with the anger and the shame that I was feeling. So, one thing that I do that has helped me in this time, because I sit at home alone all day right now, and I'm on social media for sure. I'm chatting with my daughter. I think we're going to do a doggy play date. She and I are going to be in like 5-6 feet apart, let the dogs play because they need some energy, out there. I saw her the other day. We didn't touch. We didn't do any of that. We're doing the whole social distancing, but I'm not doing the emotional distancing because it sucks, and I refuse to do the emotional distancing. So, what I'm going to suggest to you is this: feel your feels. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to be happy, that you have to be sad, or anything. Like, laughter is amazing. But when that emotion comes up of that feeling that you're getting, and for me it happens, like, you can't see me here, but it's like it happens like right here in my chest, like in that oh, that's that spot that just is like heart centered but gut centered, and I feel that tightness happening, and it's kind of yuck. And so when I do feel it happening, I kind of just grab my emotion and I'm like, yeah, that sucks. And when I do that, though, I'll say stuff like, okay, for example, I was shaming myself about money. Like, why didn't you save up? Why did you pay all your bills last month? Well, because I had to pay my bills. But why did you pay all, like, extra to some stuff? And when I got mad at myself, I said, and I love that. So I followed it up with, and it's okay. And you are okay. And I love that. So I started doing this thing the other day again. It's like I got really scared, and I'm like, I'm feeling blank. And it could be, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling scattered, I'm feeling shit, I'm feeling whatever. And I love that. And keep doing that. And because what that does is it opens up that stuffing. It takes that stuffing out. So you can have that stuffing, and then I love that just gets kind of pushed off to the side, right? So it's there's no right or wrong in this. And I see a lot of businesses saying, here's the 5 things that you could be doing with your day. I don't give a fuck. If I want to sleep till 10 in the morning, I can do that. Maybe not everybody can, but I think we can now. Maybe this is a time for rest. Maybe it's time to play with the dogs. Maybe it's just time to go chill out for half an hour and write in your journal. Or maybe it's just time. I saw this great meme the other day, and the meme said, stop fucking telling me what to do all day long, because I just want to stare at my leg, and I've been staring at my leg for 45 minutes. And you know what? I did find myself doing the same thing the other day. I think I was just like staring at this orchid or something, and I was just like sat there and I looked at it, and it's really pretty, by the way. And I just looked at it and I looked at it, and I mean, there was no thoughts, there was nothing. And it was really cool. And so I'm just going to encourage for you to do you. Go outside, do whatever, but if those emotions start showing up and you're feeling guilty or shame or anxiety or whatever that is, own it, be okay with it. So okay, and it's so allowed. And cry it out, but start with it, and I love that. I'm okay with that, because I will tell you that when I started that vibrational, just that one, and I love that, and I am okay with that. It changes that whole brain wave and the vibration to something pretty powerful. So, wanted to share that with you. I've got lots of really fun stuff that I'm going to share with you guys. There is something about the God box I'm going to talk about. And you don't have to be a God girl. You don't have to be devotional, because I am not necessarily religious. I'm super spiritually driven, but not necessarily religious. And I can be. I mean, I have my own divine practice, and I can talk a little about that if you guys want to. Let me know. I thought today I would do this video to bring this group back to life. I know I left, and I'm not sure if you guys realize why I left, and why I went so quiet, but I had some really sad things happen late last year. We lost my daughter's dog. He was here at the house with me in October, and he passed away in my arms very unexpectedly, and I could not get him to the vet, and I don't even know if they could have saved him. And then a month later, my ex-husband called me because Claude, my gigantic, beautiful black lab, Great Dane mix, whatever he was, passed away suddenly. He was at the hospital because he started having some issues with his eyes, and they found that he had a really pretty severe brain tumor. And Colin called me, and I went out to the hospital right then and there. I happened to be right around the corner as the universe would allow, and hung out there for a few hours. And for the first time, I'd seen my ex-husband, and I'd seen him for a little bit because my other dog wasn't doing well, but hung out with him for a few hours. And I think there was a lot of healing around that for me. I don't know if it was for him, but it was for me. It was very necessary. But Claude passed away in November, 2 days before Thanksgiving. And then exactly, I think about a month later, sorry, I'm not going to try and not cry, but I lost Bella. And I will do videos around that. Not crying, but I lost her. But it wasn't unexpectedly. She was getting older. She was having a lot of issues. And if you guys don't know, for years now, I've been feeding her by hand. For 2 years before she passed, I've had a dog nanny. My friend Melinda was amazing with her. She came out every other day so I could work, so I could go run errands, so I could get her breath, because this dog was, she needed human, and she needed help. She was blind, she was deaf. I think she got sick right around the time I got mold, and so it was the same type of situation, and she just got sicker and sicker. But she was also like, I think she was 13 years old, so she wasn't like terribly old, but she was old, and she just told me it was time to go. But she gave me closure, and we had amazing conversations before she left. And so, with that said, December kind of sucked. November kind of sucked. Clients made it amazing. I had amazing clients during that time. They told me to cancel sessions, but I didn't, because it was the clients, it was the women and being in the studio that lit me up. So I'm really, really, really thankful for those of you that did that with me. And then in January, I decided to take off and go to Spain for 2 or 3 weeks. I bought tickets on Christmas Eve. I said, fuck it, I'm out. And just kind of trusted God. The one thing I will tell you is that Bella, in her beautiful wisdom and the space that beautiful little dog took up in my life, little 15-pound Boston Terrier, that told me it was okay to take up space, because she sure did. She told me how to take care of her. I did. She told everybody how to take care of her, and we did. And I realized that it was time for me to take care of myself and take up space, and to teach women how to take up space in your lives, to not just show up and be seen, but like take up space, like do it. It's our time, and it's our journey, and it's our need. And so I'll share more with you about what she taught me before she passed. During that time, I wish I had more conversations with her before that. I didn't. I don't know if I knew how, but that's okay. And so Christmas Eve, I bought a ticket to Spain. Well, actually, New York City, New Year's Eve. Went, saw my son, hung out with my daughter who was there for New Year's Eve as well, and had a bottle of champagne with everybody at lunch, and then went back to the airport at 7 o'clock at night, got on an airplane, flew to Madrid, got there at 10 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day, spent Madrid 5 days, and then went to Malaga for 5 days. Then I flew to Amsterdam and spent a few days with my friend in Rotterdam, trading out photo sessions, and then flew back to New York City and hung out with my son for a couple days. So I was gone for about 15 to 17 days in January. Came back to some amazing photo shoots with some, God, fabulous women, January and February, and here we are in March. And so I am still healing. I'm still going through a lot of the emotional stuff, but it's time to come back. If I'm going to ask you guys to do and show up, I need to do that for you. And let's do this together, yeah? I've got a really cool thing coming up, and it's not about, well, it's going to turn into photo shoots, because, you know, that's what I do. So it's about photo shoots, but it's going to be really cool, because I really want you to dive into who you are, and I want you to own who you are and who you want to be and who are you becoming. So I have a really cool thing coming up, and I'm going to share it with you probably tomorrow or Friday. I need to get my act together around it because I get all excited and then I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm doing this. And it's going to turn into a photo shoot thing later on when we can actually start doing photo shoots in the studio. I might invite one or two women to actually hit a local park with me in the next week or two and do something really unique if they're up for it, if they're here in Atlanta and we can socially distant. But I think it'd be a really, really fun experience for me to play. If you want to, if you want to be part of that, let me know. Um, and in the meantime, I want you to do the whole self love thing. And the self love is unstuff it or don't stuff it in. Allow and just do you. You do whatever the fuck you want to do and enjoy it. If you want to sit at your sofa for the whole day and just feel it, do that. But do one thing for me, allow it with, and I'm okay with that. And I love that. Don't let your ego take over. Don't let all that stuff take over because no good, right? So watch whatever you want, have fun, laugh, dance it out. Let me know how you're doing, and I will catch up with you soon, guys. Good to see you again. And oh, I have a prize coming up for this month. I'm gonna announce that too. We're gonna go full throttle with this group. All right, bye, guys.